Hello, everyone. Good morning, almost good afternoon. I'm Joan Turner from Joan's Art Gallery, and I am here with another tutorial. And this one is going to be a holiday tutorial. I'm actually going to paint on a Christmas ornament or an ornament, okay? And what I've done is I've taken the hanging mechanism off of it, and I will put it back on, so don't lose it. Okay, so I am Joan from Joan's Art Gallery. I want to let you know that these tutorials come to you via Bethany Lovelace at the Drake Council on Aging. I have been a fan of hers since I met her. She is one of the most amazing people I have ever met in my entire life. So during this time, a lot of people are at home and kind of, wondering, and sometimes, we can get a little bit down this night. But I'll tell you, you can always choose your frame of mind, or you can choose to try and choose your frame of mind. There's always things to be grateful for, to be thankful for. And some of us are like grateful, I'm noticing hairs here, grateful for waking up on the right side of the grass today. Okay, so there's always things in our life that we can be thankful for, and that will set your mindset for the day. Okay, you want to have a positive mindset, especially during this time. Okay, so Bethany has asked me to do a series of these tutorials which we share. Okay, we put them on Drake It TV, Drake It Access TV. We put them on BATV, which is Bereka Access TV. We share them with the GHAA, which is the Greater Havel Arts Association, and these people care about you. Okay, they care about your state of mind. They care about what you're doing. These are very extremely awesome people that I am very grateful that I know them. Okay, so without further ado, right, let's start our project. For this project, you will need a ornament. Again, take the top off. Now this ornament, I want to say it's plastic. I actually prefer glass ones, but especially if you're working with children, go plastic. All right, even if you're not working with children. I have gotten almost finished with an ornament and dropped it and broke it. So plastic might be the way to go. And if you're picking up art packs from the Drake Council on Aging, they will have an ornament in there for you, some paints, and this picture, right? If you don't have one, though, just take a snapshot, just take a picture. The colors in here that you will need are blue, green, and white. And we're gonna mix a little bit of brown in with our green to give us a nice earthy color, right? The paints that we're using are called acrylics. And again, the colors that you're gonna need are green, blue, okay? And for those of you who have the art packs from the Drake Council on Aging, you have a basic like primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue, and black and white. And you can make any colors that you want from the three primary colors. So I said to you, I'm going to add some brown in mine. And if you don't have brown, and you won't, if you're just using a pack, you can make your own brown by mixing red and green. Okay, and if you have green, you can make the blue and yellow. That will give you green. Okay, so I'm looking for some brown paint to here. Okay, so this I'm using burnt umber, which is brown. So we actually don't need a whole lot of paint, different colors of paint for this particular project. So we need blue, we need green, we need brown, and we need white. And you won't need like a whole gallon of white like some people, because I use a lot of white. Okay. So so that, and if you will notice, it's snowing in this picture. Okay, so you could use a brush to kind of flick on the snow, and that goes on moss, by the way. Or you could get yourself a Q-tip and actually dab on some of these snowflakes. And if you take the cotton off of one side, then you can make even different size snowflakes. You can also use the back side of a brush, the handle. Okay, anything you can use anything to dot. You can use dotting tools. If you've seen some of my mandala tutorials, you probably have some dotting tools by now. All right, so you will need a palette. Okay, you can have a very expensive artist palette. You can have an inexpensive artist palette. You can use anything for a palette. Some people buy like a dish, a porcelain dish at the dollar store, and then after they're done, they wash them and just reuse them. I'm a little bit more, I won't say lazy or anything like that, because it has a negative connotation. But after I'm done with these, I just throw them away, which is easy peasy. Okay, so we're using acrylic type paints, and what that means is that while they're wet, if you get them on your clothes, you can run into the bathroom and wash them off with warm water and soap. If they dry, they become very permanent. All right, so you should have art clothes on. Okay, I don't know, let's see if you could see the bottom of it. There's lots of paint on these clothes. So you want to have art clothes on or a smock. I can see myself, so I can, don't worry about it. Also, if you're working, I'm working in my art room, so I'm not too concerned about paint getting on the table and stuff. But if you are, and you're working like on your dining room table, your kitchen table, cover it, and put some coverings on your floor, okay? So that if you get paint on it, you just pick it up and throw away. Coverings, dollar store, tablecloths, okay? And you can reuse them. I actually reuse them. So you will need that. So we have paint, we have palette, we have ornament. You will need brushes, okay? Brushes, kind of a bigger flat brush. I now have bigger ones here, but I think I'm going to use this one. Kind of go by what I need to do with it and choose the right brush. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to get a smaller brush, a little bit of a detail brush, because we have a lot of little smaller areas here where we kind of want to make little points. Okay, so maybe we'll use it, maybe we won't. This is my first time doing this, so we're going to discover it together. Okay, so let me find, now, that's what I call a detail brush. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. All right, and again, if you have the art packs from DCOA, you will have different size brushes in them, and the different size brushes are usually large, medium, and small, okay? Square head brushes are the ones that are squared on the top. This one's an angled brush because it angles on the top. You usually have a smaller brush that you can use for details, and typically one round-headed brush, okay? So I always kind of keep them nearby in case I need them. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. Like I said, this is my first time doing this project as well. So let us, without further ado, begin. You'll need water. And don't put your water in a cup, especially if you're drinking at the same time, because you'll be so involved in what you're doing that you'll pick up your cup and drink it, and it'll be paint water. I'm speaking from experience. Okay, so something different. Lots of paper towels. Always lots of paper towels. And no, it's not a big roll of toilet paper. Okay, I have to tell that to every single tutorial I do. People say, "Whoa, you got that big thing of toilet paper." It's paper towels. Okay, So let's begin. Let's begin. I'm so excited. Okay, so we're gonna begin. Okay, so what I did is I painted this white. Okay, I painted it white first. Okay, and then I let it dry. So if you need to do that, go ahead and do that, and then stop the recording. If you've seen some of my other tutorials, I have a tendency to be on the little longer side, not because I'm long-winded or anything, but so paint your ornament white and let it dry. Okay, so if you need to paint your ornament and pause the tutorial and let it dry. Okay, so let's suppose that you have already done that because you're such good kids and you follow directions. So now I'm actually going to point the camera down at the work so you can see what it is I am doing. Just notice I have sparkles on my computer. Can't imagine why I have sparkles on my computer. I think that you'll be able to see. Let's see if I can get a little closer here. Let's try that and see. Okay, so I am actually going to sit down, but my sit a little. Oh, that should work. That should work. Okay, so I'm going to take some white paint. Right, and my intention here is to do the background. Okay, so I have a white paint on my ornament already. Now I want to do it this color blue. I want the background to be all blue. Okay, so let's put that there so y'all can see it. Let me see if there's actually any white paint left in this baby. There is. Okay, and that reason, well, it's actually either empty or near empty. You might have to retire it. It's Galleria acrylic paint. It's one of my favorites, so I'm reluctant to throw it away, but I might have to. I might have to. Let's see here if we can get me a little bit more out of the picture. Okay, so now I'm going to take my blue. Okay, and whatever blue you have is absolutely fine. And I'm going to put some blue on my palette. I'm not putting a lot because it's not going to take a lot of paint to cover the ornament. Okay, when you mix paint, because I want to mix this blue, okay, the blue is a stronger color than white. So I'm going to take the white first. I'm going to leave a little white on there, like this. And then I'm going to add the blue to it slowly. Okay. Now I'm thinking that blue wants to be a little bit bluer. And again, I'm using my handout as a guide. Okay, let's see here. That's a little bit better, but I think it could be even a little bit bluer. Okay, so here I have it. And I'm thinking that's a pretty good blue here. Actually, it could go even a little darker. So maybe I do need a darker blue. And you folks probably have, those of you who have art kits should have a darker blue as opposed to a lighter blue. And it does, and I think even if I use that straight blue, it's not quite as dark as I want it to be. So I'm going to take a little bit of dark blue, and you can mix any color your heart desires. You don't even have to have a blue background. But for this project, I'm going to create a blue background, and that is more like it. So now after I have mixed this, I'm going to, actually, you know what you're going to need is something to hold this while it's drying. So I have these little plastic shot glasses that I buy at the dollar store, okay? But actually any kind of receptacle will work, okay? So you want something that will have contact with the ornament as least as possible. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to paint it. Okay, I'm going to paint my ornament blue. Right, so I painted it white first to kind of prime it. You can see why I use plastic. Okay. Yeah, so the priming on here, if I did not prime it, then I could still paint it blue, but I probably would need a couple of coats. And if this doesn't have a nice smooth finish, I would give it a couple of coats anyway. But this looks like it's going on pretty smooth here. Okay, so I'm holding it by the top. Okay. And again, you're not going to need lots and lots of paint here to cover this baby. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to just dip into my white just slightly and just give it a little bit of white here and there. Okay, and it's just to change the value a little bit. In different places, just to make it look more interesting. And I'm going to take a little bit of darker and put a little darker on the bottom. Okay, there is so not a wrong way to do this. Just have a wonderful and good time. Okay, so now I have some darker blue, I have some white, light. Okay. So I think that this lighter area here, it's kind of like a sky, if I wanted to envision a sky there. Okay, and again, not a wrong way to do this. Okay, I'm going to go with the darker blue around the bottom here. Okay, or if you're using the same color blue, just use the same color but without the white. Okay, and the reason that I'm doing this is to kind of give the illusion of land, because we're going to have trees here. Okay, I'm going to take some paint off of my brush. Okay, so I kind of looking like this. I'm going to take this brush. Okay, I'm going to let this dry. Okay, so again, if you need to, go ahead and pause your recording. Otherwise, just kind of place this down in here, right? And clean your hands. And we're going to let that dry a little bit. Okay. So if you need to, go ahead and pause your recording a little bit and give it time to dry. Now, if you're a person who doesn't like to get hands on, right, before you're letting this dry, you might want to just kind of dab with like a makeup brush. But I'll tell you what actually works better. It's just your hands. Okay. So I want this to have a little bit of texture to it. Okay. I'm gonna put my finger right in that white. Okay. So I have a very interesting bowl here. Okay. So use your fingers. If you don't want to use your fingers, any kind of a makeup sponge, or just a sponge from your kitchen, actually, as long as it's clean, will work. Okay. But again, I think my fingers work the best. Ta-da! All right. So let this dry. We're going to let this dry a little bit. I'm going to clean my fingers. Okay, your brush, right? When you're not using your brushes, put them in your water bowls. Just the same way, if the paint dries on your clothes, it'll ruin your clothes. Same thing with your brushes. If the paint dries inside your brushes, you'll ruin them. You won't be able to use them. Okay, so when you're not using your brushes, clean them. Put them, at least store them in a bowl of water. Okay. So stop your recording just for a little bit and let your ornament dry. The good thing, about acrylic paints is they dry relatively fast. Okay. So this one is still a little bit tacky here. So you might need a few more minutes for yours. Okay. But I think I'm ready to do my background trees. Now those background trees are mostly like green, and they're not a bright green. This is like a night scene here. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this back on its little stand for just a few seconds. Okay, while I'm mixing my greens. Also, while I was waiting for my blue to dry, I put some hot water on for cocoa. This is a good season for it. Okay, so dark green trees here. So I'm going to move this plate aside because I'm not totally convinced that I'm done with it yet. So I'm going to take another palette. Actually, I guess I could mix it on the same plate here. Okay, brown, come on down. Come on down here. Okay, so whatever green you have, and you might, some of you may have the Drake Council on Aging art packs. Some of you may at this point, because I think we're on tutorial like 14 or something on that idea. So you might in fact have ordered some of your own paints, some secondary colors. So primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Secondary colors are going to be colors that are made from those colors. All right. So again, brown would be green and red. Now, in order to have green, you would have to mix blue and yellow. So in most cases, students who continue on with a lot of these tutorials will actually add to their collection of paints, which can be done very easily, actually. You can order, you don't actually have to leave your house. You can order them and they'll deliver them right to you. Okay, let me see if I can actually get this paint out of here. Because I thought by holding it upside down, by the time I was ready to use it, I think I see it coming. I think I see it. And I do. There it is. This particular paint is on the thick side here. So I know I have a tube. When you're closing up your paints, and I just noticed that I just did this myself, I didn't put the cover on tight. Make sure you put the cover on tight because that's what dries out your paints. Now I see it. I've been looking and looking. Okay, this is another brown. It's a newer tube. So I'm thinking get the brown in it, okay, and it has a tendency to really coagulate around the rim here. So you can pull off that like it looks like skin. Okay, and I'm going to put a little brown here. Ta-da! Okay, and as you're enjoying some holiday music, I think my hot cocoa is just about ready. Then go get it. So given the season, you might have something a little bit stronger in your cup than hot cocoa. It's totally okay. But for me, just making sure that that my mind is clear. We want you to have a really good tutorial, which might have a more fun tutorial if there was something else in the glass, but who knows what it would actually look like. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll. So on my plate, I have green and I have some brown. And remember when I put the darker blue around the bottom? That's where my trees are going to kind of, that's where those green trees are going to kind of sit. Okay. So let's mix the green. Let us mix the green. Okay, so I'm going to take the green, right? And in this case, the brown is the stronger color. Okay, so I'm going to mix this in here. So I'm mixing brown in with my green, and what ends up happening at that point is you end up with a very dark, foresty kind of green, which I think is what we want for these background trees. All right, and then we'll put a little bit of kind of highlighted green over it. And you know what I'm looking at? Might need a teensy bit of yellow here. So let's just grab some yellow paint and put some of that out on our palette. Okay, you don't need that much, but it just can't come up. Oops. Okay, so here's my dark green. Is the green from the tube and a little bit of yellow. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 5 trees, and there's a couple hidden by this focal point tree. Okay, and you'll notice that it's off center and to the right. Most and just about every artist, the composition is such that you don't typically put something right in the middle. Okay, it's usually off center to one side or another. So now I'm going to take my little detail brush, because now I want to kind of give myself some guidelines. Like, I don't want my trees to be all the same size. I want some to be a little bit taller than others. Okay, so I'm going to, and I think what I'll do is go all the way around the tree, all the way around the ornament, is what I meant to say. Honest, truly. Okay, so I'm just putting some lines. Now I'm going to have my big white tree, I think, right here. So I might want a little one behind there. Okay, I'm going to put one here. And the largest tree is going to be the white one. Okay, so here, like I said, because this is an ornament, I think let's go all the way around. Okay, so I'm just giving myself some guidelines of where the trees are going to go. And I left a space here kind of in the middle or off center, because it should not be in the middle. But because this is not a flat surface, it's probably not as much of an issue, even if you wanted it to be. Okay, so I'm going to take this small brush and put it in the water, because again, we don't want your brushes to get hard and ruined. So, sip of hot cocoa, and now I'm just touching this brush. Okay, to, I was going to say the canvas, sort of a canvas. Okay, doing this. Okay, and I did them wrong. I did it upside down. Duh. Okay, so how does one fix an error? Okay, I'm going to actually take some clean water here because I actually made my trees upside down. Okay, and again, I told you I saved some of my glue just in case. So now it would be a good time to use that just in case glue and do that. Okay, all right, so am I all right, so let's take this green off of here. So let's make sure that we're holding the ornament the right way. I guess I should have included that detail, even if it's just for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and resurface this with my fingers. Okay, and if normally what I would do is let this dry, okay, before continuing on. Just going to kind of blow on it a little bit. All right, so let's re-look at this. So here are my trees, kind of too tall now. So I guess I could put my white tree there. Okay, when I find when students do make an error, okay, that tendency is to panic, right? But I haven't found too many things that I am not able to kind of fix, I guess. So because I was holding it upside down, these trees are a little bit too tall for the composition. So I'm going to go ahead and make them a little shorter. And I'm doing that simply by just putting blue paint over them. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead, resurface like so. All right, so now my trees are not so high, okay? So I am going to go ahead and take the small brush once again, and I think my big tree, I'm gonna put it right in the center here, and because I've already kind of changed the surface of that area. So I'm gonna use that, okay? So again, if this is gonna be where my big tree is, do want to have one kind of behind it here. Okay. Big tree here, let's put a green tree here and here. Okay, and again, not so important like where you place them. You just want to make sure you save room for your big tree. Maybe I should have put something in cocoa. Oh, no, no, kidding, kidding. All right, so now I'm gonna try that process again. Okay, noticing that my tree is gonna be there and just touching now. Okay. Okay, use your round head brush and just touch. Okay, just touching. Okay, so in trees, you know, as at the bottom or at the base of them, they're always wider, and then they get more tapered as you reach the top. And you would not think that you would have to tell people that, but you kind of do. They get so into what they're doing that they totally forget. Okay, so I'm being careful not to touch my revamped area here. So I want the trees to be different heights. Okay, so I'm very cognizant of where I'm starting them and kind of where I'm ending them. I want them to kind of end on a land line a little bit. Okay, so see my trees? Okay, and this one beside it, and I'm looking full face at them. So I want this tree to kind of be almost as tall as the one on the other side of that main tree. So I'm gonna start it up here, right? Again, just touching. Right, and again, wider at the bottom. Now, the trees, they do look like they're kind of running together, and for sure they are. And when we highlight them and change the value in certain places, you will see that you'll be able to see them. You'll be able to see where one ends and the other one starts. Okay, this one I want to be a little bit shorter. Make sure I'm in camera here. Okay, so again, just dabbing, dabbing. Okay, dabbing along. Okay, see? We are starting to look awesome. Okay, I'm being careful not to touch the painted parts. Okay, and also what I've noticed is this tree is down here. This one's up here. So I'm gonna go back here and bring these down. Okay, so I'm bringing my trees down a smidge. Okay, and they don't all have to be at the same level, certainly, but you don't want them to look like they're climbing up the side of the ornament either. Okay. Okay, so if we change them up just a little bit, then it kind of gives us a little bit more depth. Okay, holding top and bottom. Okay, dipping. Can you see my plate? Dipping. Okay, and this one, let's go a little shorter here to get the point. Right, and then as I'm tapping, right, I'm tapping. Okay, let's look over here. Absolutely. Okay, this one I'm going to make a little bit taller. See if we can get closer. Okay, I'm so close to the computer that I actually hit it with my brush. Okay. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so you could actually even do this with a Q-tip if you wanted to. Okay, I'm gonna even out my ground just a little bit here. Okay, now this is the area where I'm gonna have the big white tree. So I'm kind of looking at my trees here. A little bit of space in between that one and this one. I kind of liking that. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. Bottom here, I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and mix it with a little bit of my green. Okay. So blue here. Okay, a little bit of this dark green mixture is giving me a nice bluish greenish color here. I'm going to add a teensy bit of white to it, just so I can see it a little bit better. Okay, and I'm just going to put it right at the base here. And what this does is kind of provide a piece of groundwork, like that's where these guys are sitting. I'm even going to put some here, and my white tree is going to go. Okay, so it gives us a little bit of ground to sit on. Okay, and again, you know, it doesn't feel like I'm moving too fast, but if I am, absolutely halt, pause the recording. Okay, and let's do that. Right. So I'm going to take this brush now and put it in the water. Right. And before this dries too much, I am going to take my Q-tip. I'm going to put it in the yellow. Okay, I'm going to tap off any excess, and then I'm going to just kind of tap on these trees a little bit. And what that's going to do is change the color a little bit. Now we want to keep these trees on the dark side because it's evening. Okay, but I also would like us to be able to tell which tree is which. So this tree is in front, this tree is in front of this one. So we're going to add the highlight there. Okay, can you see that? Beauties. Okay, and we do this while the green trees are wet, because it's a little bit easier to blend it that way. So this guy, I'm doing just, again, on one side. Ta-da. Wonder what it would look like with a little bit of white in there. Let's try that and see. It's always fun to experiment. Okay, so that looks pretty nice, actually. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so this tree, I'm going to add a little bit of color to it, just a tad. Okay, and again, just using the Q-tip here. All right, just Q-tip for dabbing. You could also use a small round brush, and I will show you what that looks like. If you have a small round-headed brush, you could also use that here. And I'm finding that I like the combination of the yellow and the white here. I'm gonna leave this tree in the background and bring this one into the foreground. Okay, so that's with the brush. This is with the Q-tip. And the Q-tip is kind of has a softer feel to it. So it actually looks kind of nice that way. Okay, I'm going to put some on this side as well. Okay. So we're getting a nice kind of fuzzy look here. I'm going to turn this over on the other side because it doesn't have paint on it, and pick up some of this paint. And again, because this paint is wet, see how it's really merging? Okay. Quite lovely, quite lovely. Oh, I'm so excited now. Okay. So this guy, he's in the back, but let's give him just a little bit of light here. Just a little in the middle. So I'm alternating between the yellow and the white, and sometimes mixing them together. Okay. And I have to say, I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay. So all you have to do is decide which one is in front. So this one's in front of this one. Let's put this one in front of that one. Okay, white and yellow. Okay, and I want this one in the front. Okay, so again, once you change the value or the contrast on this, if you happen to get too much white in there, go ahead and dip into your green. Okay. You are the creator. You have all of the power. Okay, so that's kind of cool. Right, so do you like those trees? Those are awesome. Awesome trees. Okay, I'm going to get some darker green here and kind of work this ground a little bit more here. Okay, I wonder, let's try a little bit of brown down there. Oh, very nice. Okay. All right, so this tree doesn't have any color on it at all. So let's put a little. Okay. And again, it's a background tree, so we don't want to make it really, really, really light. We just want to give it a little bit of color and accent, but we want this one to look like it's in the front over here. Okay, those are nice, furry little trees. I'm liking it. Okay, I'm gonna take my big brush, put you here for a second. Big brush. So what I'm doing, I just got carried away, forgot you were there. Okay, so what I did is this dark color here, I add a little bit of brown to it so that I can do the bottom of this again. All right, because I'm finding that I like it darker. Okay, teensy bit of white, and let's just make just a little bit of ground here. Okay, let's make sure we're in camera. So I'm just taking this little bit of white, and again, the paint is wet. So corner of the brush in the white, okay, and then just kind of dragging it here. And again, you end up with a little bit too much, and I think that could be. Take my brushes, put them in the water. Okay, so this I'm thinking is a little too white. So I'm gonna dip it in the dark green, my Q-tip, and just bring this down. Okay, you have all the power. You are the creator. You are the creator. Now, I think we could be ready for our white tree. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. Una momente. Let me see. It's not a good way to hold this today. All right, so let's put you right there. La, la, la. Okay, let's clean your hands a little bit because now you're gonna be handling this. So whatever paint you have on your hands is gonna end up on your ornament. Have some hot cocoa. Clean your detail brush off. Okay, the detail brush is this small little guy over here. Okay, because now we want to go ahead and create a white tree. Okay, so to create this white tree, I'm actually going to dip my brush in the water, and then I'm going to take this white paint here. Let me switch my plates around so you can see better. Okay, so I'm just going to roll around a little bit in that white, and I want this to come all the way up here. So I'm going to use my baby finger to anchor. Okay, and I want it to come down and past my landline because I want it to look like it's shiny. Ta-da! Okay, that's what I have. So now I'm going to take the same brush, the round brush that I was using before. Okay, so round-headed brush that I was using to tap on the green trees. Right, so I need to make sure all of the green paint is out of my brush. So the way that I do that is when I clean it, I look for green paint, which you can see is still in there. Okay. Okay. So once we get all of that, we have a clean brush. You could actually use a different brush if you wanted to. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to do exactly the same thing. And again, make sure your hands are clean because I just touched a wet part and now I have to clean my hands again. Okay, so now I want to tap in. Okay, I'm just putting my brush in the white the same way I did with the green. And I'm just going to roll it here because I want a little bit of a point. So I'm just going to begin to lightly tap in over here. Can you see that? Gets a little easier as we get to the bottom. You don't have to be quite as concerned because we have more bulk, more tree bulk. Okay, and I'm overlapping my green. Okay, so take your time, take your time. Okay, I'm taking the point here, just pulling this out a little bit so that it looks like sparkle, like it's shining, sparkling. Okay, pulling it out just a tad. I'm going to do the same thing along the edges here. Okay, very, very, very light pressure on your brush. Okay, I am going to make a little bit, I want to see the star, see how it's shining there? Okay, so I want to put a little dot right there where my star is going to be. Okay, and then I'm going to once again create those little bit of rays coming from my star. Okay, and I can see my tree is a little bit crooked here, so let's straighten it out. So I'm just very lightly pulling on this brush. Okay, so I'm getting kind of a halo, little halo effect there. Okay. Nice, nice. So bring it all the way around. So you're looking for just a very wispy kind of halo-y type thing. Now this may not be comfortable for everyone. So if you need to stop the recording and practice a little bit, yay, and go ahead and do it and you will be happy, happy at yourself. Okay. So there's my tree. So I'm going to go back to my detail brush now because I want to put in that star at the top. Okay, so detail brush, and for the star at the top, hold it upside down again. So make sure my dot is right in the middle. And the reason to hold it upside down is typically if you are right-handed, you are left brain dominant. And if you are left-handed, you're right brain dominant. Okay, so if you go ahead and hold your work upside down, you are forcing the other hemisphere of your brain to become more active. So I like to do that. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. And it's a little bit of a challenge to kind of do standing up and at a weird angle. But if we persist, we get it. Cool. That's very cool. Okay, so I am going to take some of these and just draw them out the sides. Okay, so all I'm doing is taking this detail brush and just touching these edges a little bit. And my goal here is to just give it a bit of a more of a wispy look to it. Okay, I'm also going to dip into my blue paint, and not the mixture, the one that came right out of the tube. Okay, and I'm actually going to wisp some of that in here as well. Okay, kind of liking that. All right, all right, all right. I'm so excited. Okay, this is our Christmas or holiday ball, if that's more correct. Okay, so now I just want to make sure even. I'm going to take this and go even a little bit further down. I should have stopped when I was ahead. Okay, and again, if you do something you don't like, don't worry about it. Just pick it up. Okay, so I just added a little bit of water to that. And now I'm just going to dab it. See, voila. Good as new. Good as a newbie. Okay. So now I'm thinking all we need to do is add those little snowflakes. Okay, so I'm going to put this right like this, and I'm going to have the tree facing me. Okay, so again, there's a number of ways you can do this. You can actually flip the paint. Let's see if this is straight. So, to demonstrate a flipping technique, okay, I'm going to use a big brush, a big stiff brush like this. And after I put paint on it, I'm going to do this. And I've also done this with toothbrushes and all kinds of anything. Okay, so what I did is I put this brush in the water, and now I'm actually watering down the white paint. It's very loose. So now if I go ahead and do this, okay, so, and this is giving us little tiny flicks, okay, little tiny flicks of white paint. And we actually want this to go all over the ball. Okay, now for those of you who are afraid to go ahead and flick, give yourself some more white paint. Okay, so that's just a little bit more white paint. Okay, and again, you can use a Q-tip. I'm going to need a new Q-tip. And if you have the cosmetic pointy Q-tips, that's even better. You can use knitting needles, you can use dotting tools, you could use the end of a sharp pencil, okay? All right, so I am going to make a couple with the Q-tips here, just very lightly. And they have a tendency to be a little bit on the big side here if you press too hard. Okay, so we're getting like this. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the pencil point. Okay, so I'm putting the point of the pencil right in the paint, and this is much better. See those dots? Okay, so, and they should be all different sizes. Okay, but look, pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, and some we want them to be a different size. I have a knitting needle here. See what that looks like? That's even bigger. So we have big, small, medium. Okay. Putting some right on the tree itself. Okay, so I'm going to do that to the whole thing. And I am definitely going to use all different sizes, at least 3 different sizes. So I'm just doing the bottom, the top. I'm going to do every which way. Okay, I'm going to switch. Here's my Q-tip. Okay, so again, I want some big, I think a big one, right? Maybe here. That's pretty big. Maybe another big one there. Maybe a big one on that tree. And you don't think that you can see the big white ones on the tree, but you actually can. In real life anyway, you can. Okay, switching back to the pencil. Okay, and again, the pencil is making the kind of medium dots that you're seeing. Okay, and you can go ahead and spray as well, but you're going to find that you have way more control if you're using these tools. Okay, going to go back to the big ones. Okay, so I'm going to put a big one here, 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 here. Okay, and you'll want to really look at this. And again, if I don't put a lot of pressure on the Q-tip, it comes out small as well. So as I'm looking at this, kind of liking it, okay, but I think I need some more like really small ones here. So which one is smallest? Let's try this one. You could use, if you wanted really tiny, tiny ones, could use a toothpick. Toothpicks make really tiny, tiny, tiny ones. And they look absolutely awesome, awesome. Okay. So I think by George, we're going to call this baby done. Right? So if you have sparkles, you could put some sparkles on here. If you have Mod Podge, you could Mod Podge it. It dries clear and shiny, but it actually looks beauteous just the way it is. Okay, and after it's dry, you're going to pinch these two things together and put it right back into the bowl. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put this right in here like this. Let it continue to dry. And if you are listening and watching during the holiday season, I want to wish everyone a happy, safe holiday season. Okay. And once I get the top back on here, after it's dried a little bit, I will show it once again, and you will be happy, happy at me. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I'm going to make like 10 more, I think, and give them as Christmas gifts or any kind of holiday gift giving. Okay, we don't want to exclude anyone. All right, so let me come back to you over here and say thank you. As always, it's tremendous fun to share these works of art with you. And once again, thank you, Miss Bethany, and the Greater Haven Arts Association, DATV and DATV. Have a happy, safe holiday season if you're watching this during the holiday season. I'm Joanie. You can find me at Jones Art Gallery / Havel on Facebook. I have a meetup site, Intuitive Body and Soul .com. You can get a hold of me that way, or you can just email me. All right, you can email me at Joanissa, JOANISA @Comcast.net. You can give me a call, 978-807-7608, and say, hey, how did you do that? Be surprised how many people call me and say, now, what did you mix? How did you do that? And all kinds of good stuff like that. All right. So get in touch with me, get in touch with the Drake Council on Aging. If you had any questions about the Art Association or anyone else, absolutely get in touch, reach out. There are people who care about you, and I am one of them. Okay. I will see you next time. Before I go completely, I'm going to let this dry, put it back together, and show it to you. Okay, in the meantime, hang in there and let's let this dry for a second. And through the magic of Zoom, you'll see it relatively soon. As promised, and through the magic of Zoom, here is our finished ornament. Is that not beauteous? Don't forget to sign it. Whoever you give it to will be absolutely thrilled. And with any art piece, I want to say the piece is always more valuable, financially anyway, and probably emotionally, if the artist actually signs it, okay? That way you know you have an original. Thank you, everyone. Have an awesomely good day and an awesomely good holiday season. Okay, Merry Christmas to the Christians. Happy Hanukkah to all my Jewish friends. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever way you celebrate, have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Okay, thank you from me and all of your friends at DATV, BATV, and the Drake Council on Aging, and GHAA, Greater Haven Arts Association. Bye for now, kids.